Yeah, it's JoBurg. There's a lot of people around here who are coming to do business, from outside South Africa. Of course, you have people, this is, the economy is booming, and everyone is just coming at you to do some business, see. So they're just taking advantage of the opportunity, in terms of the economy. As you can see also the other countries of Africa, the economy is kind of declining. Like Zimbabwe. Yeah, for instance, Zimbabwe is a very good example, you see. So many people are moving out of from those countries, Nigeria, Zimbabwe, all these nations coming into Africa.
Two nights later, on the precise spot where we've been talking to the crowd, a man was stabbed to death. His body lay here all night. So what's the South African government doing about this dreadful, all-consuming problem? And the government minister, assuming wrongly as we've seen that only white people complain about crime, says they should leave the country if they don't like it. The chief of police, in charge of fighting crime, has been linked to an alleged crime mob, yet he hasn't been suspended. And the president himself?
I haven't come across anybody anyway. These are ordinary people who live in the townships, who live in rural areas and so on, who actually stand up and say, President, these are our problem. Nobody says crime is out of control. They will say that it's fine. Nobody can show that the overwhelming majority of these 40, 50 million South Africans think that crime is out of control. Nobody can, because it's not true.
So he certainly hasn't spoken to people in Hillsborough then. But a few days after that, the president did acknowledge the scale of the crime problem in his annual State of the Nation speech. He promised to increase police numbers.
Certainly, we cannot erase that which is ugly and repulsive and change the happiness that comes with freedom. If communities live in fear, closeted behind walls and barbed wire, ever anxious in their houses, on the streets and on our roads, unable freely to enjoy our public spaces, we have stabilized the crime situation.
And in a BBC Hard Talk interview, the government minister insisted the government was active.
The notion that government has denied a problem is just false. The notion that we haven't applied resources, the facts are quite clearly against that. The Minister of Finance and the President in the recent budget speech outlined the gigantic increases in resources we applied to. We will defeat this issue.
I found I was wrong to think that Hillsborough was 100% black nowadays. In a block of flats which had once known much smarter days, we heard of an elderly white lady who was still there. How do you do?
We thought it must be with all the green plants everywhere. That's very nice to see you. Thank you for inviting us. What a fantastic thing.
This was heaven in the hell of Hillsborough.
Mrs. Joy Jude is in her 80s, but she doesn't look it. She's all on her own. Her son's in Israel, her daughter in Cape Town.
I had two smashing grabs, one in the city centre and one in Houghton. I had my car stolen in the suburb in the west, not here. I feel safer here.
Do you have any form of protection when you go out?
My gas pistol. Here's the better keep your finger on it, press, and then the jet of whatever poison, the gas. The crime is violent and brutal. Not just stealing something from you or, it's very brutal. They want to hurt you. It's dangerous, but I feel safer here than I do in the posher suburbs because the houses are isolated.
northern suburbs make a tempting target. A particularly dangerous moment is when you come home and have to wait while your electric gate opens. That's when the attackers strike. Dr. Johan van der Vaart is a top gynecologist. In the previous 4 days, one of his close friends had been murdered and 3 had been robbed and beaten up. The robbers' tactics have changed.
They want people to open the safe, to hand over jewelry, cell phones, whatever they need, comes against their head. So they want the people to be armed. They don't want them not to, because the loot probably is much bigger if they are at home.
And so people protect themselves behind some of the fiercest defences in the world. And again, it's worth making the point that it's not just white people who huddle behind these walls. Middle-class black people are just as much in danger. No one is exempt. Famous, the much-loved, innocent, powerful, mothers with babies, rich men with their bodyguards. The murder gangs have killed them all.
Ja, Kevin, ja. Contact, no.
JoBurg is a trained medic working for a 24-hour emergency ambulance service. Highly stressed, dangerous work. Johannesburg could be a very frightening place at night time. It turns out to be a typical incident. One man attacked another.
Every year, they talked about toxic techniques.
Both were injured.
Yeah.
As for the attacker, no one knows what to do with him. Least of all the police. The ambulance won't take him because he's too violent. In the end, the police simply let him go. It's all just another statistic. One of the 300 acts of physical violence that occur every single day in South Africa.
To move away yet.
All this affects the way the outside world sees South Africa, of course, especially when it's getting ready to host the biggest international sporting event Africa has ever seen, the 2010 World Cup. The people running it are confident it will be on time and that crime won't disrupt it. In fact, they say it will help in lifting people out of poverty.
It's not simply putting more police on. It's to deal with the underlying socioeconomic challenges that we face. And we say, in the context of hosting the World Cup, we are going to create jobs. It's not the panacea of all of our problems, but it must be a positive influence in being part of the overall direction to make this country better and to deal with the challenges which we face.
So you're not expecting to be embarrassed by some dreadful outbreak of crime?
No, absolutely not.
We've demonstrated over the last number of years the ability to secure these so-called big events. In 2016, when we had the Cricket World Cup, crime levels were at their peak in this country. And since then as well. So, and in spite of these high crime levels, we managed to have a very low incidence during the 2003 Cricket World Cup.